Shalom Aleichem everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful week. It is Erev Shabbos, Parshas Toldos. And I wanted to share a quick thought on the Parsha. This is Yitzchak's Parsha. When we compare Yitzchak to Avram and to Yaakov, we find that Yitzchak seems to get the least amount of press in terms of just raw psukim, prakim that are dedicated to Yitzchak, much less than Avram Avinu and much less than Yaakov. In fact, there's only one real perek that is dedicated to Yitzchak, and that's Perek Chavav in our Parsha. And even in the beginning of this week's Parsha, very striking opening pasuk, the Ele Toldos Yitzchak ben Avram. These are the literally generations of Yitzchak, the son of Avram. Avram holidas Yitzchak. Why the double lashon? What exactly are we being told over here? Let's consider a little bit. When we think about who Yitzchak was, he's the second of the Avos. What was his core? What did he accomplish? What was his essence? What do we know about Yitzchak? So certainly we know about the Akedah and the tremendous Mesiras Nefesh of Akedas Yitzchak, and that's how we refer to it, as the Akedah of Yitzchak. But really, in the Pshuto Shel Mikra, it's Ve'elokim Nisa es Avram. It's really Avraham's Nisayon. Yet, it's about Yitzchak for sure, and Chazal tells Yitzchak was 36 years old, but it was Avram's Nisayon. We are told in last week's Parsha at great length of the marriage of Yitzchak to Rivka, the Shidduch, but even there, Yitzchak is strikingly absent. He's not part of the actual process. That's Avram joins Eliezer to go find a wife for Yitzchak, and finally, when Yitzchak and Rivka meet and they come together, so we're told Rivka sees Yitzchak. He's actually davening by Yetze Yitzchak lasuach basadeh, and she literally falls off her camel. As she sees him, she conceals herself. What exactly is that idea? And then in the beginning of this week's parasha, very, very difficult pasuk, but we're told as Yaakov and Esav are born and they are raised, so Yitzchak had a very, very unique relationship, a special relationship with Esav. Vaye'ahav Yitzchak es Esav ki tzayed befiv. The Rivka Heves es Yaakov. There was something that attracted Yitzchak to Esav, specifically ki tzayed befiv. So we find, again, Yitzchak is a bit enigmatic. And indeed, perhaps, again, Chazal flesh it out a little bit. And there are some amazing Chazals about Yitzchak. I'll just share with you a few. But number one, Chazal tells us in a number of different places, Bereshis Rabbah, tells us that Yitzchak was not allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael. The other Avos, Avram left Eretz Yisrael and there was a famine. Yaakov leaves to go down to Mitzrayim. He also leaves to go to Haran. But Yitzchak is never allowed to leave Eretz Yisrael. Why not? So the Medrash tells us because Yitzchak had a status of an Ola Tamima. He was Kodshei Kodshim. And just like an Ola Tamima is not allowed to leave the walls of the Mishkan, of the Beis HaMikdash, and if so, the Korban is Nifsal, so too, Yitzchak could not leave the walls, if you will, of Eretz Yisrael. Very striking. Another Yushami Brachos. Perek Aleph Mishnah Vav tells us something amazing. The name of Avram was changed from Avram, his birth name, to Avraham. The name of Yaakov was changed from his birth name, Yaakov, to Yisrael. Yitzchak, he never undergoes a name change. Why not? There's something unique about Yitzchak. Ushmo shel Yitzchak lo nishtana. Why not? Because when it comes to Yaakov, when it comes to Avram, their father is the one who named them. They were named by human beings, by Basav Adam. When it comes to Yitzchak, he was named by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore his name is never going to be changed. Chazal tell us that Yitzchak was born and he was nolad. He was only born after the bris milah of his father. There was some very unique kedusha to the birth of Yitzchak. Chazal tell us in Bereshis Rabbah, Afa Pishlo Nasa Maisa, even though he wasn't actually shechted, he wasn't killed in the Akedah, Kiblu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kegomer Maisa. Hashem accepted it as the Akedah was actually done. We are told very famously at the end of his life, Yitzchak could not see very well. That's why Yaakov was able to trick him and convince him he was Esav. Chazal tell us, when did this happen? When did Yitzchak begin the process of losing his eyesight? So it happened at the Akedah, when The Malachim were looking down, and there were tears in their eyes. They were crying and crying and crying, and Bachu Malachi Ashares, and those tears entered into Yitzchak's eyes, and they produced the blindness later on in his life. Very, very striking. Finally, by the Akedah, an unbelievable Psikta Rabasi is that Avram actually came down with the sword on his neck, Parcha Nishmasa, and Yitzchak's neshama, in a certain sense, left him, and then he heard the command from the Malach, Al Tishlach Yotcha El Hanar, and Chazar, the neshama, actually came back. What exactly, is there any common theme in this vision of Yitzchak? He seems to be divorced in a certain sense from this world. He seems to be on a very, very high spiritual level, and I think that is one very, very critical point. The point being is that every Av contributed something very significant to the genetic code of Knesset Yisrael. Avram was Chesed, Yaakov Avinu was Emes, and Yitzchak was Gvura. Where was the Gvura of Yitzchak? Yitzchak was a kulo spiritual person. He couldn't leave Eretz Yisrael. His very birth was miraculous in so many different ways. Yes, he could only come into being after Avram had a Milah. Yes, his mother was 90, his father was 100. It was 100% miraculous. That's why Hashem is the one who gives him his name. He was a Karban. He was a walking Karban. He was an Ola Tmima. He couldn't leave Eretz Yisrael. The Malachim literally cried into his eyes and blinded him from aspects of the physical universe. When he was davening Mincha, by Yitzchak Lasot Pasadeh, it was so profound. It was such a deep and heartfelt spiritual type of tefillah that Rivka literally fell off her camel and had to conceal herself because of the spiritual awesomeness that was Yitzchak. He was literally a Korban Hashem. He was Kulo Kadosh, and that reflects itself in all of these very, very striking midrashim. Perhaps that's why Esav somehow bore a special relationship with Yitzchak. Yitzchak had a certain love for Esav. The pasuk says, "Kitzayid befiv," and perhaps Yitzchak understood that he was very critically unique in imparting the genetic code of Klal Yisrael. But the next one of the Avos was going to have to be the one who's going to be the father of Yud Bei Shvatim, and was going to bring Bnei Yisrael down to Mitzrayim and set them up for success as they would emerge from a family into a nation. Was going to have to be a man of the world. Was going to have to be an Avram-like personality. So he had two sons, and in their young years, how does the Torah describe them? Yaakov ish tam, Yoshev oalim, and Yitzchak and Esav was kitzayid befiv. So perhaps Yitzchak was attracted to Esav because he saw in Esav perhaps the ingredient that he would need, someone who would take the kedusha of a Yitzchak, merge it with an Avram, and become the father of Yud Beis Shvatim. And he saw that Yaakov was a Yitzchak 2.0, Yoshev Ohalim, sitting in Beis Medrash, sitting and learning, and perhaps it would have to be an Esav who combined both facets. And Yitzchak apparently made a mistake, sort of. He was right fundamentally, that the next Av was going to have to bridge the personality, the doingness, the Hachnasas Orchim, the warrior, the monotheist, the visionary, the iconoclast that was Avram, with the spirituality that was Yitzchak. It was going to have to be combined. It was not going to be Esav though. It was going to be Yaakov. And that's Yaakov who was going to don the vestments of Esav, the Ish Tzayid of Esav, but it's going to have that core, that fundamental core of Yaakov Ish Tam, Yoshev Oalim. It's no coincidence that Yaakov ends up marrying two wives. He marries Leah, who is destined for Esav, and he marries Rachel, who's destined for him. He takes both facets and combines them in his persona, that is Yaakov. He's going to take the bracha that is Esav's bracha, he purchases it, and he has his own bracha. And these brachas of Gashmius and Ruchnius combine in Yaakov. That's why we'll read in next week's parsha. Yaakov dreams of angels, of malachim that are olim v'yordim, that go up and go down on this ladder bridging heaven and earth. That's exactly what Yaakov accomplishes. And there's a very, very core lesson here for us. Yitzchak was certainly a kulo spiritual personality. He was a carbon, and that's what he gives us. Yaakov now has this mission of combining, taking the Avram Avinu, the Isha Chesed, the Kiruv, the warrior, the man of the world, bridging it with Yitzchak and then becoming himself the Rosh Yeshiva together with the businessman, the person who can contend with an Esav and with a Lavan and maintain a family of Yud Bei Shvatim. And that happens by first Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Alim, making sure the spiritual side is accounted for, and then building oneself to set himself up for success against the Lavans of the world, the Esavs of the world, and that's exactly what Yaakov ultimately achieves. And that's a tremendous, tremendous challenge and a tremendous mission as we navigate a challenging world, a hostile world. On the one hand, our core and our essence, our roots, are rooted in Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ohalim. At the same time, that gives us the strength and the koach to go out, to achieve, to contribute, to change the world, to benefit the world with the tremendous kochos that we have without sacrificing, chas v'shalom, the legacy that we have of Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.